Oluyole maintained that the non-implementation of the federal government ASUU agreement has continued to tell on the quality of learning and graduates from Nigeria's ivory towers.
When lecturers cannot access the tools they need to use to do their work, the learning environment is not conducive. And so the suffering of lecturers is both personal and a collective one, which also dovetails into students. But you see, because many of our students themselves, they don't have an open eye to know that what ASUU is also talking about in this suffering matter relates with them.
Taking the position of an arbiter, a professor of industrial education and training, Kehinde Kester, said both parties only have to be sincere in their stance for an enduring end to the laboring crisis, calling on ASUU to restrain itself to matters concerning the welfare of its members.
So it's just a matter of openness between the two parties. We'll be open to one another and be very, very sincere. We don't need to hide anything from. But for as long as you ask people to endure for you, you, on the other part, should also be ready to make a sacrifice.
It will be recalled that the federal government, in a joint statement issued by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, and the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmad, disclosed that the federal government has made a comprehensive offer to the union and is still awaiting ASUU's official response, while it called on ASUU to reconsider its stance on industrial strike, emphasizing that constructive dialogue remains the most effective and sustainable path toward resolving all outstanding issues. The federal government also reminded the union that the principle of no work, no pay remains an extant provision of Nigerian labor law. Adebayo Abdurafi, BCOS News.
The federal government has called for increased investment in disaster preparedness and resilience mechanisms to reduce the impact of disasters in the country. The government made the call today at the 2025 International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction in Abuja. Speaking at the event, Vice President Kashim Shettima noted that it is wiser, cheaper and more humane to prepare for disasters before they strike than to rebuild after they destroy. He stated that the government is strengthening state and local emergency management agencies through training, technology and coordination support. The Vice President also urged academia and research institutions to provide data-driven research for informed decision-making, advising civil society to raise awareness and hold institutions accountable.
Meanwhile, 21,000 Nigerians affected by flood disasters across the country are to benefit from a federal government's interest-free loan totaling 6.3 billion naira. The Minister of State for Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, Yusuf Samunu, disclosed this today at a roundtable event to mark this year's International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction in Abuja. Samunu said the intervention is to mitigate the impact of flooding in the country and address its consequences on food security. He also disclosed that the federal government has also reached 8.1 million households with over 300 billion naira through the conditional cash transfer scheme. The minister further disclosed that efforts are ongoing to empower displaced persons through a scheme that will provide a ready market for their products.
The House of Representatives has renewed its commitment to full energy reform, urging the federal government and relevant stakeholders to overhaul the nation's downstream petroleum sector to achieve efficiency in the sector. The Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, stated this today at the first annual Downstream Petroleum Week organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum and Downstream. Abbas, who said the energy sector holds the key to unlocking the nation's economic growth, called for concerted efforts to reposition the entire industry. The conference, held in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, brought together professionals, regulatory agencies, among others, The speaker called for actionable solutions to energy security gaps, pipeline insecurity, pricing fluctuations, and the full implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021.
This broadcast of Newscope comes to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has reiterated his administration's commitment to uplifting the potentials of tourism in the state. Governor Makinde stated this at the 2025 World Twins Festival held at Igbora in the Ibarapa Central local government area of the state. This year's reporter, Bode Akinjola, was at the Twins Festival. His report is presented by Adebola Muibi.
The 2025 World Twins Festival held in Igbora was time for the people of the town to come together to honor the bond between twins, showcasing their rich cultural heritage through colorful parades, festivals, and traditional ceremonies. It was a day of joy, celebration, and recognition of the town's extraordinary legacy, where twins and triplets are revered as gifts from God. This year's World Twins Festival celebration was witnessed by eminent personalities, kings, and tourism enthusiasts. The Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, while addressing the gathering, noted that tourism is a potential that can boost the internally generated revenue of the state, hence the effort put in place to boost their potential. Governor Makinde was represented by the state's outgoing chairman, Honorable Sekiru Soda, who revealed that the present administration is already tapping into the potentials of tourism. The chairman of the 2025 World Twins Festival, Oluyole, lauded Engineer Seyi Makinde for creating Ministry of Culture and Tourism, noting that this decision shows that the governor is a lover of cultural development. Oluyole maintained that if the annual World Twins Festival in Igbora is sustained and properly coordinated, it will attract foreign tourists who will in return boost the economy of the community and the adjoining environment.
It could be taken to the international world because the festival is unique in itself, and we can make money, we can generate money from it. But for us or for them to generate money, they have to repackage it properly so as to attract tourists, so that every year people will schedule their time to be here in Nigeria, to be here in Oyo State, and be here in Igbora.
The royal father of the day, the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Akim Owade, called on all sons and daughters of the town to support the royal father in bringing development strides to Igbora. The chairman of Ibarapa Central Local Government, Igbora, Mr. Oluyole, the Olu of Igbora, Oba Jimoh Titiloye, said the Twins Festival is to promote the heritage and cultural values of the town.
So this is a festival that brings everybody together. So our next level is looking for international community, world organization to come and see themselves and have a projection and put the Ibarapa Central Local Government, Igbora in particular, on the world map.
We particularly commend the establishment of Igbora Twins Radio, a visionary project that will amplify our culture, promote tourism, and give voice to our heritage. We humbly appeal that this project be fully completed and commissioned before the end of 2026.
Others who spoke at the World Twins Festival, including the State Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Dr. Wasiu Olatunbosun, the state lawmaker from the zone, Honorable Peter Ojedokun, and a host of others called for more international recognition.
Today is a special day in the history of Ibarapa. Ibarapa here is the headquarters of the twins in the whole of the universe. Because Ibarapa gave birth to a number of twins greater than everywhere in the world.
The 2025 World Twins Festival, which was a week-long event, also featured presentations of gifts to exemplary twins and a trophy to school that won this year's football competition.
The first lady of Oyo State, Engineer Tamino Minini Makinde, has challenged young girls girls to rise above stereotypes and limitations, asserting that their confidence, intellect and leadership are crucial to building a stronger Nigeria. She threw the challenge while speaking at a panel discussion organized by her office in commemoration of the 2025 International Day of the Girl Child, held at a popular event center in Ibadan. Addressing the girls, Mrs. Makinde described the girl child as a seed of greatness with limitless potential, regardless of background or challenges. She urged them to take charge of their future and lead positive change in their communities, calling on parents and teachers to guide and support them to grow into confident and responsible leaders. The Oyo State Commissioner for Education, Mr. Segun Oluyole, appreciated the Office of the Governor's Wife for its consistent collaboration with the ministry in implementing gender-responsive and life-transforming programs across the state.
The Oyo State Civil Service Commission has commenced interviews for shortlisted officers in a 2025 conversion and transfer of service exercise aimed at filling key vacancies across the state civil service. BSO's reporter Olamide Owolabi, who monitored the exercise, has details.
Following the earlier examination conducted for public and civil servants seeking conversion and transfer of service approved by State Governor Engineer Seyi Makinde, shortlisted officers gathered at the Civil Service Commission Agodi Secretariat Ibadan for the oral interview. The exercise was designed to carefully select qualified applicants who will fill various vacant positions including administrative, agricultural, technical and educational officer roles among others in the state civil service. Speaking with Business News, the chairman of Oyo State Civil Service Commission, Alhaji Kamaldeen Adebigbe, stated that the conversion exercise is the 5th batch, with over 3,000 officers benefiting since the inception of the current administration in the state. He explained that 634 officers were shortlisted, out of which 318 sat for the examination, while an additional 380 candidates who were exempted from writing the examination are being screened through the interview process with the intention of recruiting 600 officers.
We did almost 3,000 conversion for officers in the Soroza Keda, and those coming from other ministries. We have inter-service conversion and we have inter-Keda conversion. So this interview is to select the best amongst those who have applied to be converted. Some have sat for reading test and made it to this level. Some don't need reading test because we have very few applicants, and since we don't have much, since we have enough vacancies to accommodate them, we just have to look at their credentials and make sure they are qualified, they are competent to be converted to the new cadres. But those who start for reading tests, use that to read, to make sure that those who are actually qualified.
Alhaji Adebigbe further stated that successful officers from the screening would receive their conversion letters within the next few weeks.
And within the next 3-4 weeks, so I sorted out everything and compared the list of those who are qualified and send it to the governor for his final approval, because there is going to be financial implication for those who are coming from the junior cadre to the senior cadre, and with some that are coming from other cadres to the Ministry of the Service. After the whole exercise, after compiling the list, it takes the governor for his final approval before he starts to release the result before the end of the year.
The interview exercise for the shortlisted officers is expected to end on Thursday, October 16, 2025. Olamide Owolabi, Business News.
The Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has approved the appointment of Benebo Anabraba as the new secretary to the state government. The appointment was confirmed today in a statement signed by Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Communications, Dr. Ono Sirawu. The appointment followed Governor Fubara's recent reinstatement to office after a period of political and legal turbulence that led to his suspension under the emergency rule declared by President Bola Tinubu. His return to the governorship has coincided with a flurry of administrative changes as the governor consolidates his team.
On the foreign scene, families of many of the Palestinian prisoners released by Israel under an exchange deal have said that long-awaited freedom is bittersweet after they learned that their loved ones would be deported to third countries. The Palestinian Prisoners Media Office noted that at least 154 Palestinian prisoners who have been released today as part of the swap for Israeli captives held in Gaza will be forced into exile by Israel. It stated that those to be deported are among a larger group of released Palestinians, including 250 people held in Israeli prisons, along with about 1,700 Palestinians seized from the Gaza Strip during the 2 years of Israel's war. There are no details yet about where the freed Palestinians will be sent, but in a previous prisoner release in January, dozens of detainees were deported to countries in the region, including Tunisia, Algeria, and Turkey. Observers said the forced exile illegally breaches the citizenship rights of the released prisoners and is a demonstration of the double standards surrounding the exchange deals.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. In defiance to the pleas and threats by the federal government, the Academic Staff Union of Universities also today commenced a 2-week warning strike following the expiration on Sunday of an ultimatum it earlier issued to the federal government.
The federal government has called for increased investment in disaster preparedness and resilience mechanisms to reduce the impact of disasters in the country.
The Oluyole State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has reiterated his administration's commitment to uplifting the potentials of tourism in the state.
And on the foreign scene, families of many of the Palestinian prisoners released by Israel under an exchange deal have said their long-awaited freedom is bittersweet after they learned that their loved ones would be deported to third countries.
And that's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Ajedoyin Olejede and delivered by
Oluyole and
Josephine Oluwabumi. Thanks for listening. Do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
ti sún ó ṣẹ̀dẹ̀ rí bó ṣe wá mọ́lẹ̀ kedere. fẹ́ni tó ti gbọ́ kó sọ fẹ́ni tí ò gbọ́ o. PCOS bàbá wa lágbà adìẹ. ẹṣin tó ṣíwájú ó ti gbà pò kíni náà. tó bá fẹ́ polówó ọjà kájé bùgbàjẹ́. kàn sí wa ní room 2 tó fi dé room 6 commercial department PCOS nílé akéde. ẹ wúra wọ PCOS ọpọ́n ti sún ó fakọyọ ó tún clear gan. PCOS ọpọ́n ti sún wọ́n ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀ ó tún mọ́lẹ̀ kedere. àní tight now PCOS ọpọ́n ti sún ó fakọyọ ó tún clean gan. nísẹ̀yìn PCOS ọpọ́n ti sún wọ́n ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀ ó tún mọ́lẹ̀ kedere. gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ tiwa lólùyọ̀lé 88.5 Agilete 92.1 lókè ògùn 96.3 FM gbogbo yín pátá la kí àti ẹ̀yin tẹ́ fẹ́ bá wa dòwò pọ̀ oṣù ọ̀ ẹ máa rí tajẹ́ ṣe o TS Charity ẹ wòrà wọ̀ yí o. PCOS ọpọ́n ti sùn ó fakọyọ ó tún clean gan. PCOS ọpọ́n ti sùn o wọ́n ṣe bẹ́bẹ́ ó tún mọ́lẹ̀ kedere.
Special secret that awakens taste buds. Mouth-watering wonder with awesome aroma. Terra seasoning cubes.
Terra seasoning cube turns your meals into a masterpiece.
Unwrap joy, unleash taste. Hey, come cook with Terra cubes. Come cook with Terra.
Good tasting